Hello, thanks for joining us. This is Nationwide on the network service of the NTA. I'm Ruth Aguele. The Nigerian Association of Resident Doctors has called off its ongoing strike. In a statement, NARD President Godia Ishaya revealed that the strike had officially been called off and will resume on Wednesday, noting that the decision was taken after a meeting with the delegates of NMA and NARD. Ishaya noted that the Nigerian Medical Association mandated the National Officers Committee to ensure the implementation of the Memorandum of Understanding signed with the federal government on August 21, while the association also asked NOC to report back to the National Executive Council of NMA periodically on the progress being made on implementing the Memorandum of Understanding. Recall that the doctors in August embarked on strike following a disagreement with the federal government over some unresolved issues. The World Bank States Fiscal Transparency, Accountability and Sustainability Program, created by the federal government, has begun to assess the performance of states. In Edo State, the communications specialist of the program coordination unit, Ibrahim Mohammed, led a media team on a tour of agencies in the state to take a look at processes, operations and procedures that led to achievement of results so far attained. Let's get details from Uduagbong Achibong.
In 2019 emerged one of the best performing states in the 2019 annual performance assessment by CIFTAS. The media team from the Federal Ministry of Finance took their tour to some agencies in the state, including Edo State Geographic Information Service, Edo GIS, Edo State Internal Revenue Service, Edo State Public Procurement Agency, as well as the Office of the Accountant General of Edo State. Interaction cut across disbursement-linked indicators of CIFTAS achieved by the state in the areas of property and building enumeration, improved revenue generation, e-procurement, and budget transparency.
For example, the pension arrears as at 2018 when we started was 2.6 billion. If you look at our financial statement of 2020, it was already reduced to 522 million. And as at the first quarter of 2021, we had paid off that, that liability. So that is the extent to which the program has encouraged the state, to do better in managing government finances.
Ibrahim Mohammed, who represented the National Program Coordinator, Stephen Okon, wants other states to emulate best-performing states like Edo and adopt good fiscal behavior for desired results.
Beyond the disbursements, what happens after the lifespan of these CIFTAS, which is going to terminate in 2022? So we want continuity. That's why there are these institutional, legal, and system reforms put in place.
There were attestations to the impact of CIFTAS in terms of prompt payment of entitlements. CIFTAS is an agreement between the federal government and the World Bank designed to increase and strengthen fiscal capabilities of participating states. In Benin, Uduagbong Achibong, NTA News.
For most in the export business, the journey and seamless procedures at the nation's ports is a nightmare they dread. Now, these concerns are being addressed by the federal government through the domestic export warehouse program spread across the 6 geopolitical zones of the country. Leah Katum Babatunde has been looking at this initiative. Let's see that.
Diversifying the nation's economy and reducing administrative bottlenecks have been synonymous with the present administration. The African Continental Free Trade Area has thrown up an opportunity for Nigeria to reposition her export sector to take optimum advantage of the agreement. The domestic export warehouse known as DUE primarily targets non-oil exports and is domiciled in the Nigerian Export Promotion Council, NEPC.
To take care of situations of export from the hinterland. That is to be able to boycott the protocols at the seaport that is causing congestion.
In establishing these warehouses, the NAPC is engaging facilitators from the 6 geopolitical zones.
There, the container is leaving there, NPA is willing to let. So imagine the multiplier effects in terms of job creation and in terms of wealth creation. You know the number of exporters that we spring up from this area.
Export processes will be decentralized beyond Nigerian Port Authority in Lagos and on air to process export, both solid, agricultural, or whatever resources. All agencies of government, both customs, NPA, quarantine, Shippers Council will have presence here.
Policymakers say the deal will encourage non-oil exporters to be more proactive and create jobs in line with President Muhammadu Buhari's quest to create 100 million jobs in 10 years. Leah Katung-Babatune, NTA News.
Following the emergence of Akwa Ibom State Bureau of Public Procurement as the first in this year's Freedom of Information Act Compliance and Transparency Ratings, a public and private development center, a non-governmental organization, says the rating is to further encourage access to information. Clement Barikiu reports that this came to the fore at the unveiling of the Sub-National Freedom of Information Act Compliance in Uyo.
Enacted in May 2011, the Freedom of Information Act requires all government ministries, departments and agencies and the private sector to proactively disclose information about their organizations to any person who seeks for such data. Unfortunately, since the enactment of the Act, not much have been achieved in the area of information accessibility. Deliberating on the theme, the right to know the Akwa Ibom experience, discussants regretted that Akwa Ibom State is still far behind in complying with the Act.
We'll rank them according to one, proactive disclosure, that's having their information on their websites. 2, level of disclosure.
The concept of the right to know is just existing as a principle, but not in reality in Akwa Ibom State.
I've written several FOI requests to various MDAs of the Akwa Ibom State government. The only thing I get is just acknowledgement.
I would use this opportunity to urge the state government to begin to look towards the direction of voluntary disclosure.
In Uyo, Clement Barikui, NTA News.
All right. The Open Forum on Agricultural Biotechnology stressed the need for African countries to push for modern farming techniques to close the food demand on the continent. Musa Babali reports that the forum is advocating the adoption of biotechnology in food production.
The rains are becoming unstable. The soil is becoming degraded with low productivity as a result of climate change and insect infestation. These have therefore affected food production across the African continent, increasing hunger and malnutrition, as well as poverty among farmers. The introduction of Open Forum for Agricultural Biotechnology is to promote modern farming system that will resist challenges associated with weather and diseases. Rose Gidado is the coordinator of the forum. She says the country has made a significant progress in adopting the technology.
Biotech targets the poor resource farmers, so that they can access improved seeds. So for us to commercialize, to make it accessible to farmers, we need to have a safety valve in place.
2 agencies have been established in Nigeria for the purpose of promoting and regulating the adoption of biotechnology. Professor Abdullahi Mustafa is the Director General, Biotechnology Development Agency.
Mr. President, agenda is to secure the nation's food security. So this is in line with the federal government policies.
In spite of this, no farmer or organization is permitted to produce process, edit, or market any kind of genetically modified crop without the approval of the National Biosafety Management Agency. In Abuja, Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
All right, we have the Director General of the National Biotechnology Development Agency, Professor Abdullahi Mustafa. He's going to tell us more on the food security and biotech in agriculture. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
All right, when we say biotechnology, what exactly are we implying, and where does Nigeria come in that regard?
Well, you see, this is an emerging science that is now evolving worldwide. And this is something that is now adopted by strong countries to bring food security in their countries. So the federal government has established National Biotechnology Development Agency to adopt those systems that when you utilize biotechnology as applied science, you can clear so many of the bedeviling issues in the country, be it environment, be it medical, and be it agriculture, be it industry, and many more. So it is all encompassing. And agriculture is one part of it, where we are working tirelessly to see the improvement in the country using the technology by adopting to crops that are resistant to pest, resistant to drought, and high yield, and even nutritional security. So this is the technology, and it has come to stay in Nigeria. Recently, we have developed some crops that have been released. We have released using this. We have released BT cowpea, and that one is towards food security. And when you're talking about industrial aspect, we have released BT cotton. And there are some crops that are in the pipeline, which is involving teller maize, which is in collaboration with IAR Zaria. We're working on it, and soon it is going to be released. Remember the crisis that we're in now. I think last year the federal government has allowed for the importation of maize. So this will solve this problem.
Yes, because I was going to ask you, how will this, solve food crisis in the country if we adopt this biotechnology?
Of course, it's going to bring more than enough. Within a short or small field, you can farm and you can have high yield and high quality. And you are going to use less chemical, and even the fertilizer is not going to be much because the technology is taking care of so many aspects of it. Apart from the maize, we are going to release rice, because there is a program on newest rice, and there is also soybean. So this thing is gradual, and we begin with the maize. We begin with cowpea, and then next is going to be maize, and then it is going to be soybean, it is going to be rice. So that is how we are going gradually to see that we have now filled the vacuum that is created. Remember, now it is using the technology that you can now farm in a small farmland, and you can meet the requirement, considering our population, considering the land tenure system, whereby the land now is being divided into smaller portions. But adopting the biotechnology, you will have a high yield crop, and you will have resistance to pests, you have less use of chemicals, and so many advantages like that.
But this is going to be new, not really new. How would farmers, people who are into the farming business, accept this technology?
To be honest with you, the farmers have already accepted it. For example, some few months that we have released the cowpea in Kano, the release have gone viral. Everybody is looking for the cowpea. The companies that were saddled with the responsibility of producing the seedlings were overwhelmed. They can't meet the demand because the farmers are aware. They were given trial previous year, and when you see the trial, they have compared between the local variety and the improved variety, and you see it is about 4 or 5 times high yield. And even the pod borer that is bedeviling it, it is now no longer affecting the pod of that cowpea, so which means high yield is guaranteed, and the quality of the seed is also, the quality of the product is also guaranteed. So that is why everybody is now rushing to accept it, and that is what is going to happen with the maize when it is released. So that one too, I'm sure the farmers are anxiously waiting for it.
Okay, we hope to see the benefit of the yielding increase. Thank you very much. DG, National Biotechnology Development Agency, Professor Abdullahi Mustafa. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much.
All right, we will be joining Lagos now for Adeola to pick up from where we left it. Adeola, what do you have there?
Hello, Ruth. A national apprenticeship program, when adopted, will equip Nigerian youths with demand-based technical and vocational skills that will make them befitting for available and emerging opportunities. This new paradigm will drive employability of Nigerian youths, and it is a main agenda of Skills for Prosperity program in Nigeria, a United Kingdom-sponsored intervention launched in Lagos. Adeniyi Taiwo completes the report.
At about 33% in Nigeria and 37.14% for Lagos State alone, unemployment remains a nagging socio-economic challenge in Nigeria.
Understand the importance of MSMEs and
this gathering, a coalition of stakeholders from the public, private and development sector, believes that the current school system and curriculum content have failed to resolve the crucial youth employability and suitability question, thereby underscoring the need for a new pathway for prosperity.
The way people go to university and say they go get an academic qualification with the hope that they'll get employment. So I want to say there's another way that also leads, and that is institutionalizing the apprenticeship system.
Sponsored by the United Kingdom in Nigeria and 8 other developing countries, the Skill for Prosperity program in Nigeria hopes to promote technical skills acquisition within a framework that bridges the gap between learning and earning.
Working with the apprenticeship schemes that exist and the agencies that support apprenticeships and support vocational training, and really to help them to have the kind of depth, structure, engagement, and connect those young people with job opportunities as well.
We have a strong emphasis on women and persons living with disabilities, and the program will be implemented in Lagos State and Kaduna State, but of course, it being a national apprenticeship system, we would definitely be sharing some of our lessons learned with other states.
By signing off on the program, Lagos State, through the State Employment Trust Fund, now has a more coordinated platform to realize its mandate of creating 50,000 jobs per year.
Partner with the private sector, working through the consultative forum of private employers and the government, everybody coming together to make this a reality. So how do we train, attach them to private organizations so that they're not only training but they're earning?
With the unique opportunity to learn and earn at the same time, this new paradigm is expected to boost self-reliance among youth in the country. In Lagos, Adeniyi Taiwo, NTA News.
Education is the bedrock of every society. The coronavirus threatens the education system in Nigeria, but with technological innovation, the sector is still thriving. In this report, Hingino John Adams examines how education in Nigeria has fared amid COVID-19 as the country clocked 61 years of independence.
It's been 61 years of independence for Nigeria, and the education sector has evolved against all odds. Just like the 2020 independence celebration, this year, the day is being marked amidst the dreaded coronavirus. Education at all levels has survived the earlier 2 waves of the pandemic, and it is still thriving amidst the third surge. Though the path through success has been full of hurdles, the sector is waxing stronger with innovation that addresses the challenges residents faced during the lockdown and COVID-19 restrictions.
The staff are here to prepare online activities via Moodle, VLE platforms for the children.
It took us a while for us to adjust to the new reality, which means
we had to have online lecture. After a while, we got used to it. So now it's now like part of us.
Records by UNICEF show that closure of schools in Nigeria amid COVID-19 has led to more than 50 million children remaining at home. This is not good for the future growth of the country. As more opportunities for online teaching and learning unfold, some students, especially those in remote areas, are disadvantaged as they do not have access to gadgets and data for e-learning.
We can have futuristic and strategic planning on how to move ahead of the global educational systemic call.
To move education forward, the federal government has embraced flexibility and openness to new ways of teaching and learning using offline, online platforms, television, radio, and take-home materials. In Lagos, Hingino John Adams, NTA News.
And Makurdi will be our next stop on Nationwide with Susan after the break. To stay with us.
Has commenced second phase of COVID-19 vaccination. If you are 18 years and above and unvaccinated, register at www.nphcda.vaccination.gov.ng. Visit the nearest vaccination site to receive AstraZeneca or Moderna COVID-19 vaccine as first dose. If you received your first dose of AstraZeneca vaccine before 8th July, get your second dose now. All COVID-19 vaccines are free and certified safe. At the vaccination site, you can check blood pressure and know your diabetes risk status. Children aged 0 to 23 months will receive childhood vaccines and screened for malnutrition. After vaccination, continue to adhere to COVID-19 prevention protocols. For more information, visit www.nphcda.gov.ng or call 0700-220-1122. This message is from the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency.
At 61, how far has Nigeria fared in its developmental strides, along with the challenges of nationhood? That's our focus on NTA Tuesday Live this week, with the 61st Independence celebration still in the air. Tuesday Live, every Tuesday at 10:30 p.m. It promises to be incisive and educative. Join us.
Think about hospitality and affordable luxury away from home. Then you talk about Sharon Ultimate Hotels, a secured and serene environment that offers kingly services such as 24-hour room service, impeccable security with CCTV surveillance, parking lots, free Wi-Fi internet service, free complimentary breakfast, restaurants that offers continental and local dishes, well-equipped fitness center with instructors, swimming pool, 350 capacity multipurpose hall, laundry service, pastry corner, moon mat, and our suites are breathtaking. For reservation, locate us at plot 1710, Tafawa Balewa Way, Area 3, Garikia, Abuja. Sharon Ultimate Hotels, the ultimate place.
Still watching NTA Nationwide, and it's good to have you join us in Makurdi. Stakeholders across 4 states of Plateau, Kogi, Nasarawa, and Benue are calling on the relevant agencies for urgent action towards the preservation of rivers and streams from the effect of climate change and other human activities. The call became necessary following the effect of global warming on the rivers and other water bodies in the state. Correspondent Moses Ajau Ode has details.
From creation, humanity is said to have relied on rivers and its natural resources. Rivers are not just home to aquatic animals, they are also of vital importance to the human race, providing water supply for consumption, serving as a source of food, irrigation purposes, efficient means of transportation, amongst others. However, recent developments owing to climate change as well as other activities of man have continued to raise concern for urgent need for the preservation of the water bodies. To raise awareness on the need to preserve the rivers and other water bodies in Benue State, stakeholders across 4 states of Kogi, Nasarawa, Plateau, and Benue states have embarked on a sensitization exercise in Makurdi, the Benue State capital, with emphasis on the need to preserve the River Benue and other water bodies in the state. A professor of hydrology at the Benue State University, Makurdi, Maxwell Ocheri, and the managing director, Lower Benue River Basin Development Authority, Muhammad Adra, are among the conveners of the campaign.
We must be conscious of what is taxing the quality of our waters. Then think about industrial waste, then waste from the market, waste from abattoirs, even waste from sand mining areas. All of them find their way into these water sources.
Primarily to create enough awareness on how to protect these rivers. We should all be friends of the river. The river provides the water we use throughout our lives, so that every need to consciously bring awareness to its health.
Other speakers, while commending the organizers of the campaign, say the call for preservation of the rivers was apt. The River Benue in recent times is said to be undergoing silting, posing serious challenge to both human and aquatic animals.
In Makurdi, Ode Moses Ajao, NTA News.
After 25 years of creation, Nasarawa State now has a logo depicting the rich cultural heritage and natural resources the state is endowed with. At the same time, it unveiled to the public an anthem promoting peace and unity of the state. Aliu Tijani Mohammed reports.
An evening to unwind and fraternize with one another as stakeholders continued with the Silver Jubilee celebration of the state. For the people of the state, the new anthem is a commitment to promote peace, harmonious coexistence, and love amongst the heterogeneous people of the state for sustainable development. Priding itself as the home of solid minerals with rich arable land for agricultural activities, the new logo is to showcase the state to investors in line with the vision of the present administration to promote industrialization. Governor Abdullahi Sule said 25 years of existence calls for celebration as he appealed to all and sundry to support his administration in consolidating the gains of the previous administrations. He eulogized the founding fathers of the state and all the former governors for laying a solid foundation for economic prosperity of the state. Uniting through the symbolic cutting of anniversary cake, there are hopes and expectations that the anniversary will open new vista of development for the state. In Lafia, Aliu Tijani Mohammed, NTA News.
That does it from Makurdi. It's back to Ruth in Abuja for more on NTA Nationwide.
Thank you very much, Susan. At the end of the South-South Governors Forum meeting in Port Harcourt, which was behind closed doors, presided over by the chairman, Governor Ifeanyi Okowa of Delta State, approved the setting up of a regional security architecture, which will be launched very soon. Now, the forum supports the decision for states to collect value-added tax and resolve to join the suit before the Supreme Court. The forum urged the President and National Assembly to take necessary measures to review some unfair aspects of the recent signed Petroleum Industry Bill, now Act. To ensure fairness and equity, it requests that the amendments should include clear definition of host communities and that the trustees should be appointed by state governments. The governors call upon the President and federal governments to uphold the law establishing the Niger Delta Development Commission by appropriately constituting its board, and express the hope that the federal government will make the forensic audit report public and deal justly and fairly with the report, with a view to strengthen the capacity of NDDC to meet its obligations to the people of the region. All right, let's make another stop. We're going to Ibadan to join Kemi. Let's find out what's happening there. Kemi.
Hello, Ruth, and a warm welcome to Ibadan. To stem the tide of insecurity in the country, the Nigerian Army 2 Division Ibadan, in conjunction with other security agencies, has flagged off Operation Stillwater. Correspondent Ruth Aguele reports that the exercise was not only to maintain security, but to carry the fight to the criminals' den.
With the military being the arrowhead of the security exercise, the joint security operation is meant to tackle issues of brigandage, kidnapping, militancy, terrorism, just to mention a few. Called Operation Still Waters, the exercise will spread its tentacles from the urban areas right to the grassroots, even up to the borders.
Sister security agencies have been invited to play their statutory roles during the exercise. I wish to state that the exercise will be based on real-time intelligence on the prevailing security threats and will metamorphose into real operations to checkmate criminalities.
One critical thing to note about this exercise is that apart from it being a combination of all security service in the state, it will also involve civilians, that is, in the aspect of providing information and intelligence. For the 2 Division Nigeria Army, the operation will cover its areas of responsibility, which consists of Oyo, Kwara, Osun, Ekiti, Ondo, and Edo states for the next 4 months. In Ibadan, Larry Wilayi, NTA News.
Authority of the Obafemi Awolowo University, Ilefe, has promised to unravel the circumstances behind the death of a final year student of the institution, Aishat Adeshina. Correspondent Adejoke Eluyemi, who was at the university campus, reports on the reasons behind the closure of the institution.
All roads leading to Obafemi Awolowo University Ileife were blocked due to student unrest. The blockage of the road caused heavy gridlock on Ibadan-Ife Expressway and Osogbo-Ife Road, making commuters stranded along this axis.
There are other ways to have attended to this lady that it wouldn't have cost her dear life.
We don't want to tolerate a case where a student has to provide his or her university ID card before he can be attended to, especially in a case of an emergency.
When the health center decided that, or saw that they could not handle what was happening to the student, she was referred to the Seventh-day Adventist Hospital here in Ileife, where unfortunately the lady eventually died. So the student that was saying that if he had been attended to promptly or this or that, the lady was attended to promptly, and that was why we decided to refer to a greater medical facility.
The students of the institution engaged on a protest over the death of Aishat Adeshina over what they allege as negligence of the institution's health workers. In Ile-Ife, Adejoke Eluyemi, NTA News.
You're still watching Nationwide on the NTA. More reports with Sadia in Sokoto after this timeout. Do stay with us.
The broadcast media ecosystem is dynamic and requires continuous training for practitioners to perform optimally. NTA TV College JOS invites relevant officers to the following specially packaged training programs. Archival Management System in the Broadcast Media. Date 11th October to 29th October 2021, 3 weeks. Intermediate presentation techniques. Date 11th October to 22nd October 2021, 2 weeks. Digital satellite, microwave, and RF technologies. Date 11th October to 15th October 2021, 1 week. Advanced broadcast accounting and auditing. Date 25th October to 5th November 2021, 2 weeks. Photojournalism and photography. Date 8th November to 26th November 2021, 3 weeks. Transmitter operation and maintenance. Date 1st November to 5th November 2021, 1 week. The course fee for the 3-week course is 130,000 naira per participant, while the fee for the 2-week course and the 1-week engineering courses is 100,000 naira only per participant, accommodation inclusive. The venue for all courses is the serene and secure environment of NTA TV College near Old Government House, Rayfield, Jos. For more information, please call 0803-314-4383 or 0806-980-9807. NTA TV College, Jos, training you to be the best you want to be.
Welcome back. We will be joining Sadia and Sokoto at the moment. Let's continue from here. Following launch of the National Cybersecurity Policy and Strategy by President Muhammadu Buhari and the ongoing drive for implementation and mainstreaming across sectors, the Office of the National Security Advisor is organizing a multi-stakeholders sensation workshop for different sectors. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa was at the sensitization for the educational sector in Abuja.
Digital transformation is now visible in all sectors in Nigeria to boost the socio-economic development of the nation. Just like other sectors benefiting from the limitless opportunities of the cyberspace, this revolution is vital to the educational sector as it enhances ease of tracking records, improve results from data analysis, research and learning, among others. These benefits are sometimes threatened.
In a bid to ensure that we effectively harness the benefits of the digital revolution while effectively combating the heightened risk of cyber threats, the federal government of Nigeria reviewed Nigeria's maiden National Cybersecurity Policy and Strategy 2014 and formulated a comprehensive 2021 version.
The document was developed in line with global best practices and provisions of the Cybercrime Prohibition Prevention Act of 2015. The document is meant to provide a strategic direction for cybersecurity in the nation.
This forum is therefore aimed at sensitizing stakeholders in the education, their responsibilities towards the actualization of the government policies.
The education sector must rise now and collaborate with the security agencies because the threat is real.
Other sectors are expected to benefit from the ongoing enlightenment on the multi-sectoral policy. In Abuja, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Farouk Yahaya, has arrived in Enugu for the official flag-off of exercise Golden Dawn, Enduring Peace and Still Water Operation. Now, these field training exercises are routines conducted yearly by the Nigerian Army designed to effectively check all forms of criminality and provide a platform to sharpen the skills of participating troops on the conduct of internal security operations.
It's only by so doing that we will successfully rid our societies of the menace of criminality that has lingered for so long. I equally wish to also request the support and cooperation of civil society groups and the gentlemen of the press throughout the period of the exercise.
Will run concurrently in 2, 6, 81 and 82 division areas of responsibilities in the Southwest, South, South and Southeast regions respectively. It will also be conducted in Headquarters Command, Army Records, 401 Special Forces Brigade and Guards Brigade areas of responsibilities in the North Central states of Kogi, Benue and the Federal Capital Territory. Meanwhile, members of the general public are advised not to panic at sighting the movement of troops and equipment and continue to support the Nigerian Army and other security agencies with credible information on the activities of criminals in their vicinity. Police in Zamfara State have rescued 16 more kidnapped victims. Jamilu Ibrahim reports that stepmother of the Speaker, Zamfara State House of Assembly, alongside her 3-month-old baby, kidnapped 8 weeks ago, were among the rescued captives.
The 16 kidnapped victims, including a 3-month-old baby, are the latest batch of more than 200 captives from across Zamfara State who have regained freedom within the past 4 weeks. 11 of the victims hail from Magamentande village in Kauranamura local government area, while the other 4 are from Magare community in Zulumi local government area of the state.
The police were able to rescue the victims hale and hearty. They are all medically checked, they breathe, and will be united with their families.
Stepmother of the Speaker's Zamfara State House of Assembly, kidnapped alongside her husband more than 2 months ago, is among the rescued victims. Zamfara State Police Command is, however, silent on the fate of her husband, who is the district head of Magaria in Zuma local government area, as the bandits were said to have kept him separately from the other captives. The police commissioner says a rescue of more kidnapped victims across the state is in the offing. In the meantime, the police and other security operatives in Zamfara State have succeeded in the arrest of a notorious armed bandits kingpin, popularly known as Bello Ruga, and some of his collaborators who had been allegedly terrorizing people of Gumi local government area of the state over the years. Things recovered from the suspects include assorted weapons, foodstuffs, drugs, and some jerrycans of petrol, among other exhibits. In Gusau, Jamilu Ibrahim, NTA News.
The Nigerian Copyright Commission is going tough on all forms of copyright piracy to save the nation's education system from intellectual deficit. Director General of the Commission says they're fully going after intellectual thieves that are causing drains to the economy. Bosade Ibo reports.
The continued criminal activities of book piracy is costing the country billions of naira and sabotaging the intellectual property growth annually. The Nigerian Copyright Commission is concerned schools are not buying books directly from the publishing companies, an action considered criminal. To correct this unhealthy development, the Nigerian Copyright Commission is collaborating with the police and customs to clamp down on defaulters.
One would expect Nigeria to be way off in this area, but we are still where we are today, largely because of the distortion that pirates have brought to the market and because of how much they've robbed the creative sector. So it's enormous.
The Commission says the action is also a threat to the creative industry, the solution requiring a multi-sectorial approach.
We're collaborating with the NCC to ensure the activities of pirates from schools, from photocopying, from those who are selling on the streets, and to the printers are brought to the nearest, to the barest minimum.
We need to sensitize the pirates to actually, if they are interested in selling books, to come together, to form an alliance with the bookstore, collect the proper books with a price. They could add their 50 kobo. It doesn't matter.
Pirates thrive where there are shortages of distribution particularly. And that's the major issue in the business creative industry in Nigeria.
With an estimate of 918 trillion naira Nigeria loses annually, the Nigerian Copyright Commission says it is determined to win this battle no matter how tough it gets. In Abuja, Bosede Ebo, NTA News.
Thank you, Bosede. Nigeria is to sustain and strengthen its relations with sister African states by promoting unity and cohesion. Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Gabriel Aduda, stated this in Bissau, the capital of Guinea-Bissau, while inaugurating Nigeria's permanent mission building in that country. Anthony Forson will tell us all about it.
Standing on a 1 hectare plot of land in the high-brow diplomatic enclave in Bissau, the capital city of Guinea-Bissau, the edifice, apart from office space, will provide non-consular services. Inaugurating the mission house, Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Gabriel Aduda, said the federal government has always remained committed to strengthening its relationship with its African brothers.
Federal government of Nigeria
Governo Federal de Nigéria
has shown very strong support to the government of Guinea-Bissau.
E tem mostrado suporte forte para o governo de Guiné-Bissau.
We have enjoyed very, very cordial relations.
De facto, nós desfrutamos boa relação cordial.
And it is as a result of this
E no resultado daquilo
that we have taken it a step further to put in place this property.
que nós tomamos passos adiante para pôr essa propriedade ali.
Oftentimes, it is not every mission that comes to a country that puts down a property like this. So this shows importance and value that is attached to the people of Guinea-Bissau.
Esta mostra importância e valor que Nigéria tem para o povo de Guiné-Bissau.
And as such, we are very, very delighted today. Not only that we are here to commission this building, but also that we are doing it on the occasion of our 61st independence anniversary.
It is in the light of this that the Nigerian government is pushing for the speedy completion of its permanent mission house in that country. The Nigerian ambassador to Guinea-Bissau, John Usanga, said the opening of Nigeria's permanent chancery in Guinea-Bissau is a deliberate way of deepening relations.
No one can wish away the greatness of our nation. It will resolve any doubt about Nigeria's commitment to Guinea-Bissau. What we are witnessing today is not just the opening of a chancery building, but the marking of an epoch that will deepen Nigeria's diplomatic relations with Guinea-Bissau.
So, excelentes, perfeitas, impressionantes.
In my opinion, the disclosure of everything that has been done here, it's really perfect. It's really, it's really great.
The deputy head of mission from Gambia and the president of the Nigerian community expressed satisfaction with the move by Nigeria to have a permanent mission in Bissau. Anthony Forson, NTA News.
Barely a year after the inauguration of the Itakpe-Warri standard gauge railway line, a visit to the rail line shows an unpleasant situation with inadequate maintenance culture and poor services. Oina Kaloka reports.
Everything is not working, says an angry passenger, and that seems to paint a vivid picture of the situation at the Itakpe-Warri rail line.
That toilet is not even
It starts from the beautiful train stations. At Itakpe, passengers were seen standing or sitting on the floor, as seats are not enough.
The management here is poor.
The toilets at the stations are not functioning, and security situation very relaxed.
The entire process is flawed. First and foremost, there was no COVID compliance, there was no security checks.
Time for boarding, same negative stories. Late arrival of the train, which is said to be a consistent practice.
Then today now is my second time. Just 1 week interval now. The delay is really more.
The delay of this train, we not understand. We don't do it since, let's say train they come around 2 o'clock. 2 o'clock, Abby? Time now, let me check time. Now, check time for me.
After 4.
After 4.
Past 4.
Past 4 safe.
While on board the train, the toilets were still locked, and there seems to be no proper seating arrangements.
The seat numbering, the coach numbering is another story entirely. My coach was supposed to be SP038, and right now I'm inside another coach that is SP025.
The Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Transportation, Dr. Magdalene Ajani, who was at the stations for final inspection before the handing over of certificate of completion to the construction company, acknowledged these lapses.
As the challenges are staring us in the face, we have to look at how to solve them. And that's the main reason why I took this trip. Already it is in the plan to expand or extend the waiting area at Ujewu, and now we have seen that it's even more urgent to start from Itakpe.
She said the ministry will look into providing alternative means of electricity to tackle some of the challenges. Nigerian Railway Corporation was directed by the Permanent Secretary to provide signages at all the stations. Oyinna Kalu Oka, NTA News.
When COVID-19 reared its ugly head, the world stood still. So also is the education sector. But with the help of technology, schools were able to reach some students. Abdulmalik Hassan looks at the capacity of Nigerian universities to impact knowledge using virtual platforms.
The nature of the world has led to the global adoption of electronic platforms for learning, and Nigeria is not lagging behind. Although the coronavirus pandemic may have triggered some institutions to engage in this learning process, and the University of Lagos is one among a few utilizing this platform to avoid overcrowding.
When we now did ask for the opinion of the students, I can say that it was 75% success story for us. We can improve on what we have. There is space for improvement. Another thing that we have brought into focus is to get tablets for indigent students. The number of indigent students we have in the University of Lagos, we are able to capture it. And in November, by the grace of God, when they resume, we are going to give them free tablets, which was funded by Dr. Jim Ovia. Well, whether we like it or not, the era has come to stay. And it will even help us in improving on our teaching system, on our teaching ability, and also help the students to know that the world has changed.
This postgraduate student of the institution, Tohipat Ajose, is effectively utilizing this platform. She is optimistic of a stress-free learning process if sustained.
At first, it was very difficult, but within 2-3 months, we all settled into the virtual learning platform, and everything has been good so far.
For the federal government, working to ensure same in tertiary institutions across the country is a priority, but not without some few challenges.
The reality is that if you look at the Nigerian university system today, several universities are at different stages in their adoption of teaching and learning technologies. Some have gone quite far, others are learning. But as a system, we are making a lot of effort to intensify capacity building. Because when you talk about online learning, there are several components. The teachers must not only be knowledgeable in terms of subject matter expertise, they not only be competent in terms of pedagogy, they now also need to be very fluent and digitally competent.
Virtual classroom is just one aspect of e-learning. There's a lot of content, curriculum development, giving assignments online, accessibility to resources like library, e-library. A lot of things comes in when it comes to digital learning. And then, of course, one of the challenges that students face is that they don't have accessibility. And that's where the government can come into the picture. And 5G is coming into the picture right now, meaning that you can have a complete virtual environment in front of you, having the digital platform for learning.
With this method being adopted by some tertiary institutions and secondary schools, education will be made easy, especially with the provision of required learning gadgets for Nigerians. Abdulmalik Hassan, NTA News.
Sports update is next.